unedited, uncut. This is Timothy Kowski, cooking in my PJs. Yeah, I'm finally doing another one. I shared on my Facebook before pictures of my giant meatballs, okay, over the spaghetti, and the sauce. I think I have showed the sauce before, but I cut down the vegetables and I cook it in the olive oil, and I cut the vegetables thin, cook them in the olive oil, and then I add a tomato paste. I add oregano, basil, you can add some red wine. Whatever you like to do with your favorite sauce. The sauce really doesn't matter in this case. This case is really going to focus on the meatball. Now you can chop some fresh onion, some finely diced onion, like you do when you make a sauce, and you can leave some of that finely diced onion and put it in the meat, and that's going to make that meatball more tender. Or you can do a shortcut, which I do sometimes, and you can use the minced onion. The minced onion will also work. You know, you don't want to use as much minced onion, and it's dry. Some people do both. In this case, I'm gonna make it with the minced. I take the chuck round. Okay, I'm gonna put it in here. It's chuck round. Pound. And you gotta let this thaw, because otherwise this thing's gonna be frozen on top, and it's really hard to get off with the, you know. Alright. Now my pasta is in here under the hot water. Pasta's gonna be more than done. When this is done, I didn't want it to be completely done beforehand, you know, because I like to have a little bit of bite to the pasta with this cut al dente. Okay. So I didn't grab my eggs. The eggs is what holds the meatball together, of course. Alright, and can I do the eggs now? There's no rule what order you put the stuff in, so I'm going to just get mashed up with hands. Make sure your hands are clean. I did clean my hands, but I got a little meat on it. Alright, a little bit of sprayed soap. That's the important thing. You want to keep, the food safety, you do want to keep your hands clean, especially when you're working with bare hands. You know, some people, you put those gloves on, but here's the problem with the food service gloves. Here's the problem with the gloves. Say I'm making this raw meat, I'm handling that. And then people don't change the gloves out, and then now you're going to handle some noodles. And the noodles are going to be cooked. They got the raw meat now on that noodles. Now you just cross-contaminate. You know, I'm old school. Even when I was in the Navy, we didn't use a lot of the food service gloves. I used my bare hands. Just keep your hands clean. Keep your hands clean in between the stations. Okay? When they crack flat surface, like my new aisle, this is the new aisle. Boom. Nice and simple. Flat surface, boom. Oh, I just got it on my hand. I'll do these in here and I'll wash my hand. See, that would have been all over the glove. That would have been all over the glove. You don't want that. You don't want that, okay? You don't want that all over the glove. See, so now you just wash your hand. Then you get your hands clean. And they were scrubbed. My nails were scrubbed. Everything I scrubbed. Right? That's gonna be the substance of the meat. Now when I do my breadcrumbs, all I do is I take a whole bunch of dry bread, the heels, if you don't use the heels, a day old buns, whatever you like. I just put them in the package. And I'm just kind of old school. I don't use no blender. I just use palm of my hand, and that's it. I mean, this is rustic cooking, man. That's what I call this rustic cooking. So I just, rustic cooking, man. Put the breadcrumb. There you go. There's your breadcrumb, man. All right. I mean, I just enjoy doing this. Look at that. You just smash it in the package. Got some nice smashed breadcrumb. Beautiful. All right. Well, you go to one your big, And I'm just doing the dry herbs in the meatballs. I like to put fresh herbs in the sauce. I like to dice up some fresh parsley, maybe some fresh oregano if I can get it at the store. I like to find something, at least something fresh to put in the sauce to give it that little bit of that, and usually I don't want to use as much. Basil. Same thing you put in the tomato sauce too, right? Right. You can see that, and I'm just putting the sauce over the meat. Just putting the sauce over the meat. I put a little nutmeg. That's my secret ingredient. Nutmeg. Nutmeg. I'm in New Mexico, so I gotta have a little bit of Mexican spice. I like to put a little bit of cumin, so it does a little bit of, the garlic salt, along with some fresh garlic, along with now this you wouldn't usually put in a meatball, a little bit of rosemary, but it gives it a little bit of a sweeter flavor. And here's my onion. And it's going to mix up, and it will still get moist, because the sauce will also make it moist. The eggs will also make it moist. You don't want it too moist anyway, Majorm. See, I'm out my leaf majorm. So I'm just gonna put what I have in there. And sage. I do like a little bit of sage. Any type of sausages or meatballs, I like sage leaves in. The dry sage leaves. And the dry herbs, you can rub them in your hand a little bit, like when I put them in the sauce, I'll rub them in my hand a little bit. That's gonna freshen them up, and then you just put them in the sauce. Time, I'm out of time. I'm out of time. No, I'm not out of time in the video, but out of time. It's spice cut time. T-H-Y-M-E. I'm out of the spice time. And so I substituted a couple of things. But the spice time I love it in any type of meat, especially any type of beef dishes. Like Worcestershire. See, you're going to add wet stuff in here anyway, but it's going to make it moist. I put a lot of Worcestershire, right? And then this New Mexico. Put a little New Mexico kick in there. Put some Mexican hot sauce, Frank's Red Hot, whatever hot sauce you want. Cholula. Yeah, gotta have a little hot sauce now. Alright, now, got these dry smashed breadcrumbs. The meatball is the boss, baby. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Just gonna coat that meatball. I'm just gonna coat that meatball. Look at that. The whole bag, the whole bag. I want the whole bag. The whole bag. Now there are some bigger pieces, and that's fine. I'll break it down as I go. Just give it a hand, I'll break it down. But for the most part, you notice that. For the most part, they all got pretty finely crushed with the palm of my hand. For the most part, they pretty firmly crushed with the palm of my hand. Nice crushed breadcrumbs, old school. I'm just gonna mix it up. Just like I do a meatloaf. You guys saw my meatloaf video, right? The meatloaf, I put all the vegetables. I put a lot of vegetables in my meatloaf. I put the carrot, the onion, the celery, and I put all that in my meatloaf. And of course, I put that in the blender.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so.
Okay, thank you.
Well, what's your dreams, guys? I mean, what's your dreams? I mean, my dream, I'm running out of time. I'm going on 62 years old, okay? And I'm running out of time. Right? I served my country. I fought for this country. I'm a combat veteran in the military. I did my job, right? Got kicked to the curb as a fight for my benefits at the VA, right? I still have some balance issues, but I still fought. Still finished my martial arts journey. I didn't quit, you know. But my dream was always to be a philanthropist. And to be a philanthropist, you have to have a lot of money. You know, and what's the least explored thing in the earth? It's not the earth itself, it's the oceans. I mean, they should call this the planet ocean. Because that's what, you know, 90% of this planet is, the ocean. And I don't know, maybe 30% of the ocean was explored. You know, there's so much ocean under there that hasn't even been explored. And my dream, you know, was to be a philanthropist and explore the ocean. Right? And maybe it wouldn't be possible to do, but build some underwater stations. They can observe ocean life. More special subs, they can go into deeper parts of the ocean and explore the oceans. And understand what's really under there. There's so many species of sharks. Sharks it's coming up in like a couple of weeks, I think. In the Shark Week Undiscovered, and I love Shark Week. There's so many undiscovered species of sharks. And that's one of my dreams. It's never going to get true because sadly sometimes I feel that the Lord only blesses the evil people, the one that's been given money and they don't do good things with it, you know. Evil people like Trump, like Musk, who's took away billions of dollars to go to USAID. The money went to children, starving, sick children, and aid. Look at the meatball. It looks like one big giant meatball inside of a bowl. You know. And and a lot of the philanthropists, can't think of his name, but besides Musk and besides those people with SpaceX and with Blue Origin, there's also another one. And what do they do? Space exploration. And it's only going to be 4 meatballs. 4 giant 1.5 pound meatballs. That's what I'm saying. Just enough for my wife and I. It's 2 meals. We have a big meatball with this one meal, and then another big meatball with the other meal. And I just put on a spaghetti. Now usually with a big, meaty, hearty pasta dish, you have a heavier needle like a penny, or a noodle like that. Maybe in bow tie noodles. Well, I don't know what all the Italian names for all those noodles are. Those of you who watch Rachel Ray, you see that she always uses a lot of different heavy types of noodles. Right? But me, you want to make this tight. You want to push it, get the air out, boil it again and make it tight. You don't want air inside of the meatball. Right? But for me, some people you can actually make a cheese crust, dried cheeses, Romano, Parmesan, whatever, dried cheeses. Now I'm not talking the powdered, I'm not talking big, the chunks of cheeses, right? You dry it a little bit, then you just roll the meatball in there. You have a cheesy meatball. Or you can make a stuffed meatball. And people may make a hole and you put some cheese inside. There's so many things you can do with meatballs. Right? I forgot what I was saying. And I love space. I love space exploration. I mean, as a kid, you look up, you see the stars, and I was raised in the town of a city south of Chicago, and around by the Mississippi River, and beautiful, And I don't know a boy like Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn, Samuel Clemens, Mark Twain, his real name is Samuel Clemens. He talked about the Illinois river boats, the Mississippi river boats, and now we did do, my wife and I, speaking of river boats, my wife and I did some river boat stuff. We went to When we were in Louisiana that one year for one of the battleship reunions, try to get as much air as I can. See, those big giant meatballs. Big giant meatballs. See the size of these things, man. You just roll my ear, just roll it, man. Make them as round as I can. Big, giant meatballs. If I want to make 2 smaller ones, I could do that. I can take some down and have these 2 big ones and make maybe a couple of smaller ones. I'll do that, and that way I have the 2 big ones, and then we have a couple. We'll make 6 instead of 4. Usually only make 4, but I'll do that. The smaller ones, they cook faster. You can make them small. The big meatballs are the highlights. You know, my wife and I would just usually just take a big meatball, eat the big meatball, a little sort of sauce on the pasta, and that's it. It makes a nice big meal. See, there you go. It was enough to make more big ones. I did divide it, but sometimes you have to take some off. Now we're going to make it a little more even. There you go. Now I have the 4 big, 2 small. Alright.
Lady says, can you delete this post since John has died in 2018? I made the post in 2022, so how can John be dead in 2018?
That's right. That's funny. Well, back to what I was talking about, shark
I hope it's going to be a good one.
and philanthropy. Yeah, my wife likes shark week too. See, there you go. See? Now there's a couple small ones. And that makes a meal itself. The big meatball makes a meal in itself. I'm going to wash my hand. I'm going to grab the camera, show you close up. It's going to be kind of uncut, unedited. It's going to be a very big flavored meatball. And the reason why I like dried herbs on the meatball and not the fresh herbs is because it's more, to me it's stronger, more robust, and yeah, don't have like a little bit of greens hanging out, a little bit of this hanging out. it's all just dried inside the meatball. Keeps the consistency. Now you might disagree with me, you know. You might want to put all fresh things in it or whatever. But I put a lot of fresh things in the sauces that I make. So it kind of balances it all out anyway, you know. Oh wow. The sausage is simmering here for an hour. Everything is cooked down in here. Everything is just cooked down in here. Oh, man. I like wooden spoons. Alright. Move it out of my way for a minute. Give me a minute as I wash this. That's it. It's going to be an unedited cooking on my PJ. Just me being myself in the kitchen. Just me being myself in the kitchen. You know, I did that pierogi one, and I was singing, and I did pierogi 1, part 1, pierogi part 2, in my old kitchen. The camera was up on a stand, up on a shelf, when I did that one. But, now I want to do a Christmas in July, but I'm not going to do a video for that one, but I'm doing a Christmas in July. My wife and I, we do Christmases in July because I believe Jesus to be born somewhere around the 16th of July. It's the closest date that I came up with. With all my research, because, you know, if you go by the Christmas story, like I've said that before in videos, if you go by the Christmas story, Jesus was not born in December. Shepherds are watching the flocks at night. They don't watch their flocks at night in December because the flocks are in the stables. There was no room for them at the inn, where the inn is the top part of the stable. But that could have been possible. But there wouldn't have been any room for them at the stables either, or any of the underground areas, the cave areas, because all the animals would have been in there. There might have been a few animals in there, but all the animals would have been in there because of the cold months. So, in reality, Jesus was born around July time frame. So we do a Christmas in July, and that is coming up. So, here we go. I'm going to show you the meatballs. I'm going to take the camera. Alright, I'm behind the lens. Here's my meatballs. Yeah. My pasta, which is done. I'm going to put a little pasta water in here. The sauce has been cooked down. You can see a little bit of the herbs. Look how smooth I got this though. I made it really nice and smooth. Like I said, the sauce is not the important part. But I do have a lot of herbs and everything in there that's all cooked down. I don't know if we can see what's cooked down. It's hard to see in the camera. My eyes, I can see it. But nice and smooth, just a basic sauce. I'm going to put my meatballs in the sauce. And here we go. Alright, I'm over here at my stand. It should be a close-up of my pan. I'm just going to leave my meatballs in there. And nice basic tomato base. Big giant meatballs and a couple small meatballs. The small ones in the middle. Kind of in the middle. And I'm gonna let those meatballs cook. Alright, I'm gonna turn up this heat. And I'll see you in the next part of the video when I serve this. I'll see you in about an hour. Gotta love you pickles. Oh yeah, this is another cut. Ooh, cold, it's cold. This is the garlic. I don't know how clear it is, but there it is. It's my Goya garlic, and that's what makes the meatballs moist. And I didn't put any in the meatball. I was talking, I said, yeah, I'm gonna put both kinds in there. I didn't have it pulled out, and I didn't put any in there. It's still gonna be a good meatball, because see, when you have both types of garlic, and that's gonna give it a little bit more garlic. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little bit of that in the sauce. I'm just gonna put a little part of a spoonful in the sauce, and just call it a day with that. Got the meatballs cooked down. They got nice and sauce. Only if there was smell-o-vision, you can smell the. Whew, man, it smells good. All right, guys, it's time to serve dinner. I was thinking, of course, of Sir Richard Branson. He's one of the other space guys, and like I said, all the philanthropists, they go into space. Nobody really studies the ocean. Now there is one that I really admire. James Cameron, director of Titanic. He's also a diver, deep sea diver that has subs, and he's actually went down to the Titanic wreck, and he loves the ocean. But not a lot of people, study the ocean. Not a lot of philanthropists are funding ocean research. And like I said, that was my dream. It's still my dream one day, if the Lord ever blesses, if the Lord blesses me, like winning the lotto or whatever, yeah. And then I have this house, this ranch, these 3 acres, and doing okay. I'm healing, I'm moving, I do my karate, but I still have my dream. That's my big dream. Because my other dreams is to open my own art studio for kids one day still, and things like that I still want to do. And like I said, I'm not getting any younger. I got to start to fulfill these dreams before I lose the opportunity, This week's busy week. My wife's birthday tomorrow. Yep, the 30th of June is my wife's birthday. It's Monday the 29th now. This video won't be released until way after my wife's birthday. We'll have a big celebration tomorrow. Just my wife and I, and about the cake next. I'm going to make the cake and do all that stuff, and it's going to be fun. Not really doing a video of that one. But both are going to have spa days tomorrow, and we're going to have a good time, and so and I'm going to film the America's 250th. I guess I'm going to do a kind of sit down and talk about the 4th of July, talk about the history of America, all that. I'm going to do a 250th film. That's what I got coming up. Let me show you what I do here. I'm going to drain this pasta first. What I do is I try to make a bird nest. But can't really do it with the big spoon. I gotta use a good scoop. When I get the good scoop, I'm gonna do the bird nest. And I'm gonna scoop some on. I'm gonna serve these plates. Alright. And I'm gonna scoop it on. Just a few noodles here. Alright. Then I'm gonna take the middle and I'm going to twist it. It makes like a bird nest. It's not really high yet. You see how it starts to make a bird nest? So take the pasta a little bit more and I'll just twist it on. I'll make the bird nest. Now I'm going to put the meatball on the bird nest. Alright. One of the giant meatballs. I don't even see what I'm doing here. Put it right there in the center. Take some of the. It's not a. Like I said, it's not really about a lot of sauce. It's really about the meatball. The flavor is the meatball. So I just kind of drizzle some sauce around. I'm just trying to avoid getting my arm in here too much, you know, you know, so you see the camera view. And then I'm gonna take the. Yeah, I don't have a fancy cheese. I'm not rich. I wish I had some dry Romano or something, and I'm just going to take the cheese and pile it on there like that, and that's it, and that's the plate. I'm going to do the other one and I'm going to eat. There it is. See, I twist it, it looks kind of like a bird nest. Sometimes I put a lot more pasta and I twist it and I just keep twisting it and piling it and twisting it, but I don't need as much as I used to. This is light for me nowadays compared to what I used to eat, man. And I used to eat whole large pizzas after doing a martial arts workout when I was a teenager, and then go home and eat dinner. Not no more. I wouldn't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? No. But there you go. There it is. I'm gonna take a bite here and try this out. My wife was loving it, aren't you, Joe? Mm-hmm. All right. The thing about the spaghetti, you kind of have to twist it on a fork, you know, like this, you know. You take the meatball and the spaghetti and twist it on the fork, and I'm going to take the bite here. It's spicy with that hot sauce and all those herbs. Hope you enjoyed this cooking video.
Bye.